Hey, how you guys doing? One sec. Excuse me. There we go. Okay, dokie. Let's make sure. Just hold on. I want to make sure everything's recording. Okay, all's good. Sweet. Okay, this is a game between Wesley So versus on Honest Joke. I hope I'm pronouncing his name. Honest Chuck. I think that's. I think. Excuse me. That's his name. Okay. But we'll just call him Alexander, and I'll just do Wesley for white and black. Because I know that I could pronounce that okay. I know I probably pronounced his name alright, but I'll just do his last name, Alexander. Okay. Wesley's white, Alexander's black. Wesley, in the U.S. Tournament, has already, for the championship, has already won 2, so this is his second one today. And so we're going to, his second game in the tournament. That's what I should mean. Okay. Wesley played e4, e5. Supposedly, the e4, a5 line has been analyzed all the way that it's not really that. It's good, but it usually ends up in a draw. This type, there's a lot of tactics, but that's not at a certain level, like Super Grandmasters. This has been analyzed. They usually talk about either d4 or c4, or sometimes they do the hyper modern b3 or g2. Nakamura does those. So they usually, if they want to win, they either play e4, and that's somewhat, or c4. Sorry, c4, e4. It was very interesting that Wesley played that. He wants to go for more tactics. He's basically saying to Alexander, I know more tactics, and let's see if you can steer the game tactically, or if I can out tactical you. Come on, don't stall on me now. Don't stall on me now. Okay, e4. Alright, then. And this is the Ruy Lopez. So, that's the. They really like the Ruy Lopez. And this is the. I believe it's the. Yeah, the. The Columbus variation. And so, Castles was played, and now we have basically the 3 knights variation of the Ruy Lopez. That's kind of what I call it, because black gets his knights out. If there was an exchange here, it'd be the exchange. I think it's the exchange variation of the Ruy Lopez, something similar to that. And d3, d6, and potentially a pin like that, because this bishop can't come back here anymore. But Wesley allowed for if potentially here, he can now go to c2. He doesn't have to, let's just say something like this, he doesn't have to worry about losing his light square bishop. So he does a in-between move that solidifies the knight and the bishop from ever coming into this spot there, or the knight to here. So this is a really kind of flexible move. It also allows potentially d4 to be played, b4 to be played, and potentially even a bishop, potentially even a bishop to e3. There's a lot that is in the c3 move. So rook e1, and now now he's Wesley's getting ready to maybe just slam d4 right away. But first, he wants to make sure if this gets taken that he could take back with his knight. And now potentially there's b3. Actually, I'm sorry, c2, b3, bishop b2, and then potentially an advance in the center. You have to, in these closed positions, like the closed Ruy Lopez, I call it the close because there's really no infiltration points. It's called something else, I think like the Columbus variation or something. But it's really close, so you can maneuver around without really any fear. Jeremy Stillman calls it a static position. If the center was, if this was open here, I'll show you all this. This would be considered a dynamic position, and I'm sorry, here, my bad. This, if this area was all open, it's dynamic. This is also dynamic too if the center's open. So, but because it's closed, it's very static, which means non-moving, slow, not fast. What that means is they're now moving around, getting in position. It's like boxers in a ring. They're on the perimeter of the ring, going woo woo all around like this, like this, like this, and they're waiting for the right time to land the punch. This is the same exact thing in chess. There, Wesley and Alexander is getting their pieces ready, and then at the right time, they'll throw the punch, and they'll see who feels the pain first. So h5. Potentially, that's an idea. It's not. If you want to have, you know, a pin and kind of take advantage, this is more of an attacker's opening. I mean, attacker's play. But if you're more positional, that's more of a positional move right here, because what you're doing then is you're putting your bishop on a really good open file, and you're as well preparing for your push of d5. So if you're more of an attacker, h5 is your bishop h5. If you're more positional, bishop d6. It's all how you feel. In this setup, I'd probably say that Alexander doesn't want to play slow because he's afraid of d4. See, if he plays here, d4 is a potential idea. Takes, and then there's a potential fork. So he wants to kind of keep this square from Wesley being able to go for a central break, and so this is a way to do it. But if you're not afraid of that and you want to play more positionally and you're okay with a slight of an attack from white, e6 is not a problem for you. Bishop h5, bishop c2. Now the push is coming no matter what. But at first we have to somehow relieve this bishop pain. So that's one thing we're gonna have to remember that we got to do is somehow maybe play a rook over, queen over, something like that. Because Wesley's kind of cramped, so is Alexander. So it's basically who can uncramp their position the fastest. And right now, if you're an attacker, I would prescribe you to do one thing. My teacher told me this. He was an attacker like me. But he says what you have to do is become a balanced player. What that means is you have to sometimes play openings that are closed to make yourself be patient in these things, because you would not want to break right now, because this would give Alexander an advantage. You have to slowly build up, and then at the right moment break. So, and now Wesley's plan is to go to g3 to kick this bishop out. And a lot of players would be, wait a second, I'm moving a knight from, 1 second to get a drink. I'm moving a knight from the center off to the side. What's this all about? They would try to find a way, like back here. Let's say let's play queen here, then here, and then here. No, or here, then there. No. You don't want to do that. You wanna be able to get this bishop out, and then later on, once this bishop goes here, then the break is possible, because now you freed your queen up and your knight. Your rook guards, and when this knight comes here, it guards that pawn. So this is going really good for Wesley right now. d5. So Alexander's like, if I don't throw the first punch, I know what's gonna happen. I'm gonna be hit with g3. So now or never. And so he throws the first right punch, or left, whatever hand, whatever your main strongest hand is. Wesley's like, fine, you know what? You take. You know what? If you take, I'll take here. And, or I'll take here. And then you've given me a really nice outpost. And remember, I still have that. So I'm still good. And what have you accomplished if you take? So he plays bishop g6. Queen e2. Now Wesley's starting to unwind his pieces, and his queen's now on a really good file. His bishops now are just looking at the king, and all of his pieces have all of a sudden arrived to potentially almost optimum play. And Alexander's pieces, the majority of them are on the queen side. So this is kind of a little scary for, I'd be a little scared for black, because my two of my mega forces are on the queen side, and the knights that I would love to have here are here. I mean, I'd love to have a knight here, or there. They're all the way over here, and that's going to take a long time to get back. So bishop e3, queen d6. So he's Alexander's rushing with all of his might to get the forces back to the king side, because he sees that if he doesn't, what's going to happen is he's going to get basically overwhelmed by Wesley's forces. So bishop takes, and now this was a critical moment in the game. 1 second. You have to remember, when you trade a bishop for a knight, make sure that you take away your opponent's ability to use the counterpart, which you no longer have. Wesley no longer has a dire squared bishop. So he doesn't want Alexander to play on the dark squares, and by doing this, Alexander's pawn structure is really bad. And what happens now is Wesley has a strong pawn structure, and if Alexander would have, Wesley's got a free hand basically, and he's not worried about trading the bishop off, because he's going to play against this bishop with this bishop. But he also has to remember, now his dark squares are weak, so he's going to have to cement those and potentially not open the position, because he's got the two knights. So if you have the knights, you remember that knights love to be in closed positions. They love jumping over other pieces, so that like if something was here, this pawn was here, this knight would love to be there. But if it came down to all this being removed and he was left with this bishop and the pawn was here, this knight would love to be there. So, and Wesley plays h4, which is a beautiful move. I love that move. I like that move really a lot. He's gonna play h5 next and force Alexander's bishop to a passive square on h5, which then allows his light square bishop to overpower this bishop's influence. So what'll happen is this bishop will be out of basically energy. It's there, it's doing something, this, but not much. And this bishop here could potentially go here and pin this pawn to the king once this pawn moves forward. So as they say, the rope's getting tighter and tighter. So h6, bishop b3, in between move, because Wesley sees that anytime he can play h5, he wants to make sure that this is applicable. He also wants to, if Alexander trades, drop a knight in here, bishop takes, and then queen takes, and now it's opposite colors, which is, if you're a stronger player, you know how to win with that. d4 is played. C takes d4, knight takes d4, knight takes d4, queen takes d4, and then queen g4. He doesn't even care about this pawn. Remember, this is pinned right here. So this bishop is on pre. So remember that. Don't think, oh, I could just take this pawn. Yes, you could take that pawn, but see you later, bishop, because this pawn can't take because it's pinned. So just remember, make sure, look at pins, look at the pins on your piece. So like when your opponent goes like this and you're saying, oh, your opponent, you say, oh, my opponent has given me the d3 pawn. Really? Did he really give you the d3 pawn? Or did he lure you into taking a pawn so that he can get your bishop? Just be on guard with that. So d6, bishop d6 had to be played to guard this. Well, he could have, he potentially could have played maybe here, maybe king over. That's a potential idea, and then threaten. But I really don't like moving my king over. Excuse me. I really don't like moving my king over to the side, because just in case if it goes to an endgame, his Alexander's king's off to the side, and it's just going to be a little bit longer to get towards the center. So that was an idea. There's also king h7, but I don't know if that's such a good move either. So because that actually loses a bishop, so he really has only that square to go to. This one, that move loses a bishop to h5, so that can't be played. And queen there, and this allows for Wesley's now storming down the board with his pawn structure, his majority on the king side versus Alexander's, because you're thinking, wait a second, doesn't Alexander have a majority on the queen side? Yes and no. There's no way to make a candidate pawn. If Alexander had a pawn here, if this pawn was back here, then potentially it may be drawn. But because the pawn's here, it's going to be really hard for Alexander to do anything on the queen side. So now he has to move. So we have to remember that Maybe it would have been better for him to actually have moved here, because then that potential of pawn push wouldn't have been available for Wesley. You're saying, but couldn't he have played here? Yeah, he could have played there, but and then maybe that still would have applied. I'm not sure. I think okay, we'll do that in just a sec. Okay. But what we have to remember, this is actually, if you're wondering what game this is the U.S. Championship. It's actually the most recent game Wesley played, and he's facing Alexander Onischek. So, and we're talking about now, we're going to endgame study, and we'll go over Fabi. We're going to go over a game also later on tonight for white, that Fabi's white, and Alexander Lenderman is a black, so we will go over a good white opening. Oops, let's do this here. Okay, so pawn push, king h8, rook a d8, and this takes advantage of the file on the queen. So you have to remember that it's important to get your queen off. When you have a rook like this on your queen, it's important to get the queen off of that file as quickly as possible. So queen f6 was played, h5, which Wesley is putting the squeeze on Alexander, and it's going to be nothing but pain. This pawn will either come here or take, which will give him an advantage. So d takes e, queen takes, bishop takes the pawn, and now there's a 4 versus 2 majority, and this is not looking good for Alexander. Wesley has already one passer. He has a candidate passer right here for passer number 2. So, ouch. I don't want to be, I would not want to be this. And the majority on the queen side for Alexander doesn't do anything because he doesn't have a candidate pawn to push down the board. So, his candidate pawn is right here, and it's not considered a candidate pawn because a candidate pawn is a pawn that doesn't have a piece that can challenge it like that, because eventually what you'll do is you'll get your pawn here, and then you'll get that pawn there, that'll take, and then that takes, and that's your passer. So that's how candidates. And if there's 2 pawn here and it was like this one would have been your candidate pawn. So just keep that in mind if you want to make outside pass pawns. Look to see if the pawn that you want to make outside is a candidate pawn. Okay, rook f8. Just trying to get this out. So queen comes in, and this is actually a very strong move, because if queen takes, bishop takes, this pawn, pass pawn, becomes super duper strong, because there's not enough material starting to come off the board, and endgame then comes into play, and that's when pass pawns become champions. So bishop f6, queen takes, bishop takes, and Alexander has accomplished one second has accomplished barricading the pawn at this moment, but you have to remember that potentially rook and potentially f4 is plausible of being played to kick this bishop out. There's no pawn to cement this bishop. So it's potentially on pre if you want to think about it, because there's nothing that can defend it. You'd have to bring a rook over, and really, if this bishop stays like right here and this bishop wasn't there, it would guard that. So very tough position. The rook slides up. Now that pawn's getting attacked. Potentially knight's going to hop in, but I doubt Wesley wants to double. He wants to keep this pawn passed so that he'll have a candidate pawn here and a passed one there. And in an endgame with a king versus two pawns like this, the king who has the connected passers wins, always. Because they protect each other, and the king can't take the base one if it goes like that, because it'll just run up the board. So just keep that in mind. Rook A, D8, rook takes, and B3. Now Wesley has the ability to stop the onslaught on the queen side. 1 second. Excuse me, I have to get a drink of water. Just 1 sec. Much better. Okay. This cements the structure. So, this potentially is a weakness. Alright, to make the A pawn. Shouldn't black? Yeah, he could. But 1 second. Yeah, he could do that, but if you think about it, the more pieces that come off the board, this pawn becomes stronger. And remember what principle is: if you can get a pawn, rook behind a passed pawn, it'll go down the board, and eventually this will be a thorn in the side. And I agree with you, Chris, on that this would be actually a good move here. But the problem is, no longer is this pawn barricaded. So, and this bishop is out of play because of this pawn. So, Wesley could actually put his bishop here and then bring his rook over and up, and then start munching like Pac-Man on the 7th rank. So, and this still is a pretty strong structure. He could play g5, and then if Alexander takes, Alexander's got two doubled pawns, which then would be a weakness for a rook. So I think Alexander, yeah, I was looking at that too. Actually, I kind of that was an interesting idea. I didn't really look into that. Now that it is an interesting idea. What I was thinking was, and probably Alexander did look at that, but he judged that this bishop is more powerful as a unit of blocking this pawn than it is doubling, because that is an interesting idea. And grandmasters look long into the future, long distance, and so this right here, he saw a pawn there, and then his pawns like this, and then yeah, exactly. And Wesley would be okay with that because his bishop, Wesley would be okay with this type of trade because he can always implant a bishop there, and he can always play a4, and then his rook is free to be a menace on the back, right, on the 7th rank, and just it'll get full of pawns. It'll be like yummy, yummy. That's a good dinner, as they say. Okay, so the bishop now is being attacked, and so east. Okay, so he's gonna try here, there, and get a knight. Okay, because remember, one advantage that knights have that bishops don't is knights actually could attack once one's here. If this knight goes here and here, knights can attack light squares and dark squares, and only a bishop, whatever color the bishop is, it's on that square, always attacks that square. It can't jump around like a knight does, like here or here, 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 here. So, and this, I actually wouldn't trade the knight if it was me. I would do my best to actually keep it here, because I have to stop the e-pawn, because I'm really concerned about two candidate passers. I wouldn't want to have that happen. So this is actually a very strong move. I was thinking what would happen if he played here, but there's no life to that. So this keeps the potential for these two squares to be accessible. It puts the question if the rook was to play there, which that's what he does, and then d5 is played, and now Wesley has provoked a kind of weakness, if you think about it, for black. Black no longer has the potential to infiltrate d2. It's stuck looking at this pawn here. This bishop that now has a potential, like what you're saying, Chris, to take, because it has a rook blocking it, but in an endgame, you really don't want to have your rook like this. You want to have your rook right here. If black would want to have his rook here. If the rook comes here and this pawn gets there, that pawn locks this rook down to defending the queening square. So that was a huge accomplishment by Wesley to get a rook here, because endgame play he's winning. So see, now that was played, and but remember, if this bishop gets, these two bishops get traded off and this pawn gets there, this rook has to come back, and potentially then the king can come up as well, and rook can come up and king can get over here, and it cause a lot of misery to black. So bishop g8 was played, king f2. So now if Alexander takes, which he doesn't, sorry. If he did take, then he would have to play his rook there to stop that, and he wouldn't want to, doesn't want to trade, because if trading happens, takes, I think the king could get there in time to kind of pass the move. Let's see here. Maybe it is a draw. It actually might be winning now that I think about it for black here. I think it's a yeah. Let's see if that does get traded off. I want to make sure I did the endgame properly here. So takes. So this move right here is bad. So let's get rid of. Don't play that move. So get rid of that. Lock this down here. So that if that's played, you push up. And if this is played, then you can actually at this point take. And if that's played, now you play here. And if that's played, you take, and you bring the and if the king ever takes here, he's one move too late. So that's why he doesn't. That's why Alexander didn't take. Wesley took, and now this rook has to stay on this this file here to keep an eye on this pawn. King goes to e3. Oops, let's turn off the engine. And now the king guards it, and so Wesley was able to lock the king out of play, so he can't come in to help. And we'll have to go over endgame studies on how you can tell a drawn endgame, rook endgame like this, and a a winning endgame. Jeremy Silman has an endgame book on that, and so we'll have to go over that. G6, H takes G6, rook takes, rook F3, everything. He's just tightening up, tightening up. Leslie's just tightening up, tightening. There's no rush. Alexander has no counterplay on the queen side, because worst comes to worst, Wesley can actually just lock the position up, and then he has the only passed pawn. This pawn will never be passed, and his king's more active, so because this rook, remember, still keeps this king from coming into play. So pawn push, king moves. He can't play here because, of course, you guys see that, and then you have the famous Lucinda base. I don't know if that's right. I don't think that. I think I did that wrong. Let me see. Oh, so I did that right. So the rook would have to take at this point. And king moves over, and then now opposition will be in play. And now Wesley's willing to give this pawn up to come over and gobble these up here. So and he resigned here because of the potential idea, like what we talked about here, 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 there, there, and then you move in here, and if that's played, and if he takes, and if he comes over here, come there, if he tries that, and you don't do whatever you do, don't take, because if he takes here, you can stop these two pawns. If you take here, he has a candidate pawn and he'll beat you. So do not take whatever you do. Don't take. Just push. And if he plays here, push. If he plays there, and then what you can do if he plays here, you just come over here. If he takes, then he comes there. First you gobble that one up, gobble that. You shoulder the king away. And then it's just standard queening of the pawn. So that's that was an interesting game that Wesley played and won. So yeah, Alexander honest check isn't doing very good right now. So we'll do and I wanted to save the best for last on these. This one was a longer one, a 70 move. Hey, I wanted to show you this one. I think you guys probably have already seen it. It's a game that Bobby played against Alexander Lennerman. Sorry, I think I don't think I'm okay. We'll just call it. Yeah, he played against Lenderman. Yeah. And so what we're gonna do is we'll go over this. This one was really it was one of the most, I think, attacker games that in the whole day, and I really liked it. So I wanted to share it with you guys. It's like 23 moves. It's like really fast. Yeah, I did too. E6, D4, D5, and then knight F3. Yeah, and it'll show you. If anything, this will show you about poison pawns. Sometimes the best thing to do is to leave a pawn alone. Otherwise, you will get clobbered, and it'll really be hurt. You'll be like, man, for a pawn, I got defeated. So, and Lenderman learned, Lenderman learned that at a heavy cost. Let's just say it's never fun to lose in the way that he did. Yeah, exactly. And that connected everything. And yeah, it was really bad. But it looked tempting. It looked like, oh, you're giving me a pawn. I'll take it. Takes. And so we have a Winier French for black. So it's also really cool. I liked how it was a French. So we kind of get to do a French opening and get to see how basically powerful white, if you're not playing when you're correct, white can actually do some big time damage. A5, yeah. Yeah, I did. And in the Winier's play is he surrenders his dark square bishop, which is his good bishop, for a kind of weak center, and at the right moment he'll trade and he'll try to crunch the center, break the center open. So just keep that in mind if you ever play the Winier. In the French, it's all about black wants to break the center. So A4, which I think we learned something, didn't we, guys, about potentially having a overextended queen. Now you get to see why queens don't like to be brought out too early because of that. But there's a way of handling it. Like he's handling it correctly with queen A4. He's getting ready to take, and then take. So this is and then next, more likely he'll bring his bishop out, and then potentially play here and there. So this is your bad bishop, and if you can get it outside the pawn chain, you're doing really good for black. Queen G4. Fabi's kind of doing a sideline. This is more of a classical French Winier, because the queen usually goes for G2, G7, but usually the knight's at D7, and then it surrenders this pawn, and it's actually white who gobbles it's called the poison pawn variation. You actually give up 2 pawns to get a huge kingside attack. So Lenderman has to bring his king over. He can't allow this pawn to fall. So he loses castling rights, but he still has the potential to play something like that. So it's still okay. And even he has H5 and potentially here and there, or F6, and then dropping a knight in. So H4 was played, which we love when Harry gets pushed, don't we? Yeah. And we love when we get to push our friend Harry. Bishop knight C6. He's still eyeing this pawn here for takes, and then queen takes, and then maybe he can get a trade, and then that becomes a weak pawn. And Fabi's like, take it. If I can get this pushed, then now that's open, and oh, you're seeing a sweet little spot to jump into. You can either put a knight there, a knight here, a bishop here, or a bishop here. So if he can provoke this weakness, that's a big time problem for black. So Lenderman has to actually play h6 to prevent the pawn to h6 for white. So queen d1. And so now the line works out, takes, and you don't want to take back whatever you do, because this actually benefits black at this point, guys, because that's weak, and you have a check. So you kind of have to surrender the pawn at this moment and allow him to take here so that you can get some counterplay with bishop takes, and potentially that might open up. Scary, very scary, the win here. If black knows what he's doing, it's very, very not fun. h5, h takes g, and then you have a check. Bishop intercepts, and now this is not a fun position to be in for black, because if he takes back here, which would be not a wise move, that pawn is solidified there indefinitely, because there's no way to break this bind in the center, and that's the whole idea in the French, is to break this bind, these two squares here. So if you took here, the pawn no longer has the ability to go f6 at the right moment and break the center. So queen takes instead, and there's still the threat of f6. Yeah, exactly. You don't ever want to, like what Fox said, you don't want to push pawns on the queen side, on the side that your king's on, even if it's not castle. And these two pieces are out of play. So Lenderman should have tried to keep this solid, at least played here and kept this structure until he can unwind his pieces. But he plays one move that actually Fabi plays here, attacking the queen. And this is the move that actually shocked all the commentators. This move here is like, what? Can you actually do this? Can you actually play this move? It's like, whoa. One second, I need to get a drink of water. It's that shocking. It's like, whoa, this can't be right. That can't be right. You don't go pawn grabbing. I know you think, whoa, but isn't this going to be attacked? Yeah, sad. Exactly. Well, everything is just sad if you think about it. So they were saying that potentially that might have been, well, then you have a pin there. So this one, they had a long line worked out that I think it was like queen to g4, and then if rook takes, like something rook takes, queen takes check, king moves, Fabi's up a whole pawn, and with an attack. So they kind of talked about this line, and then if I'm trying to see it, I believe that they even had like bishop pins there, something like that. It was some sort of move like that, but he just gobbled that, and I was like shocked to the core. That actually wins the game, and I'm like, whoa. Because now you are able to bring your last piece into the fight. My teacher told me if you can get all your pieces in, it's over. Yeah, and so the king moves up, and at this point, I believe Fabi went from like a point something all the way up to like 4 pawns or something like that. It was like, whoa. that this takes right here was shocking. When the queen from here took, the computer went like crazy, and it's saying like, what's going on? What's black playing? This isn't good. You know, what are you doing here? And the queen's potentially almost trapped. It's like, whoa. And so Lenderman actually asked to waste a move to get his queen out from being trapped. And Fabi wastes no time in punishing, literally punishing that queen. And he just basically pummels the queen in the position, and Lenderman just gets destroyed here. I'm not trying to be mean. He's a great player, Lenderman is, but this is just a devastating like 4 moves that happens, and you're even able to take with a rook. It's just like, whoa. And it starts with rook to h4. It's like, wow. And remember, you never want to, make fun of your opponent or anything. Yeah, I did. He did talk about this here, and if the queen went, let's see, where did he say? I think something like here. It had to go like somewhere here, because I don't know if the queen has any other spot to go to. That's guarded. That's guarded. That's guarded. That's guarded. That's guarded. 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 So a4 is the only move for the queen, and now Fabi's got a mega attack happening. He's got these 2 rooks. But it's still, Lenderman is still okay, but it's going to be painful for a while, because he's going to now have to somehow get his queen safetied. That's the problem if you go pawn grabbing with a queen, and you're just going to feel the pain for a while. But Fabi wants to, this is more of a, I'd say, a crunch, because he potentially can actually play g1 later on. I agree that these 2 rooks here are powerful, but I would play this. Yeah, exactly. That is an idea, like what Fox said. This is what Maurice talked about here. And then this, there, and then potentially you have a, let's see, I think Maurice actually talked about a check here, and I think there was something else that I'm trying to remember what he said. I believe it's not that. Maybe I'm missing something here. I'm missing a move. There was a move sequence Maurice actually did propose. I'm trying to see if it was a check. Yeah, I'm trying to see. Yeah. Something similar to like that, like a check here. But this makes, yeah, oh, knight g5, yeah. Yeah, after all that. Yeah, that's right. Knight g5. That's it. I knew there was something. And then I think he was talking about either queen h5 at that point, or potentially he could actually sack his knight. Like if something happened like this, potentially there's even a potential sacrifice. And if that's played, then mate happens, so the knight actually has to come, and now you just get obliterated. Or even worse, just go for the KO and it's all over. Yeah, not fun, not fun. Whatever you do. But I like, you know what, I like rook h4. You're right that this move actually here is the strongest move. But there's just something sweet about I guess attacking here. But you guys remember, go for the crunch. Just just take him out. You know what? Just destroy and move on to your next board. If you're playing over the board, just you know what? Don't play around with your opponents. Just destroy them and move on. I shouldn't say destroy. I mean, win the game basically, and do it gently, like, because you know what, you don't want to make anybody feel bad. Chess isn't about making people feel bad. It's about improving, and then if they ask where I went wrong, then you can show them where they went wrong, and then that benefits everybody. And they may even have said, what if I played here and you learned something from that? So you have to always respect your opponents, but remember, you're there to win too, so do your best to win. But you never want to dishonor your opponent. Yeah, but that's his choice. I like what Searching for Bobby Fischer said. I think it was Pontifini said this. You have to hate your opponent. He says, I don't. He says, but they hate you. He says, but I don't hate them. So when you involve anger and hate like that, it clouds your mind for the best position. Just keep that in mind when you kind of get that feeling built up in play. Let's say that the person you've played like 5 other times and he's won. Go in there with a clear mind and play your game. So what, he won 5 other times. This is game 6, a whole new board. Remember that. Yeah. But that my teacher taught me that was don't come in with emotions. Chess is very as psychological as it is positionally. So just keep that in mind. Okay, now we'll go for this pin right here, and then Fabi plays another wonderful move. He can't take, well, I guess he could take there. Wow. Let's see if he takes there. You could actually play here. I believe that's, I don't know. Wow, the queen's trapped. Okay, there, yeah, he can't take. Wow. Wow. That just hurts looking at it. The knight wants to devour that rook, but it can't. Wow. Yeah, this is that's just that just hurts. I'd be like, I want that rook, I want it, but you can't. And then now that pin's in play, and it's like, oh, a5, and boom, and it's all over now. If Lenderman tries queen there, I believe, let me see, what move did Maurice, I think he didn't want to see any more of this pain. Let me see, let me see, what was the move that Maurice said? I think it has to do with something like that. And now this knights, and so if that happens, that, and it's just, there's too much material for oh yeah, you're right. That works too. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it was something like that. Yeah, now I'm seeing it. And then here, and then now you have like that, and you get something similar to this. I don't know. I really don't like that, because then you have something like that. So Lenderman would actually have to play there, and then you have here, and then here, and then you can actually bring your queen in, and when that's played, now you have to play on a dark square, and when that happens, there goes a one rook. And so if he tries something like this, or I don't know, something like that, trying to get out, there goes a bishop. And let's see, what else could you do? Probably bring your queen in here, and then if he tries that, then you actually take here, and then there. Now you have one last piece to bring in, and if he tries getting this pawn going, then you bring your knight in, bishop takes, if he tries here, you actually checkmate. So if he tries here, you checkmate. If he tries here, you checkmate. So yeah. What? Yeah. So what's happened here? There is, hold on. Am I missing something? Let me see. Did I miss anything that you guys said? Why not just play rook? Hold on. Let me see. Rook e6. Where did I, Chris? Where did I miss? Bishop takes e. Okay. Bishop takes e. King takes e. Oh, rook takes e6. Oh. Snap, yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's even better. Yeah, that works too. Yeah, you actually now have a rook, rather than having a bishop. You now have a rook. So, because remember we had actually we had a bishop and a knight, light square bishop. So now instead of the light square bishop, we have a rook. And so, yeah. One sec, let me get a drink. Yeah. It is interesting. So we'll get into yeah. Yeah, I'm more endgame. I like endgame play, and so I kind of just thought, something like what you're saying, that and that, yeah. So that was interesting. So we'll do our puzzles now, because I had to show you guys that. That was such a cool game. That was a cool game. Sorry that Landerman had to be on the receiving side of that, but That's what happens. Chess is chess. When you play a game of chess, you, like as they say in wrestling, you sign the waiver of what potentially could happen. So, that's just what happens. You risk getting defeated. So, my teacher told me that you're not helping your opponent if you allow them to win, which means you feel bad. You just win the game and then they take the game home and get better. Let's see here. Boy, boy, boy. Yeah. I like that, Chris. For sure, that's the case. Yeah. Let's see here. Thinking of something like that. Knight takes e6. That threatens mate, and it threatens the rook. One second. Excuse me. Excuse me. Okay. This allows, and if that takes, then you have you pick up the rook, and then if the queen takes here, you pick up the bishop. So if here, 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 there, then you pick up the bishop, and you're up a whole piece at that point. Remember that here. Remember here. If he takes there, we take here, so that's first gobbled. That's gobbled. We move over with our queen and gobble that up. And so he's stuck. This is the material that's left over. This piece is gone. That piece is gone. That piece is gone. Yeah. Let's get. I believe that's the move. Yeah. Then we take, and you take, and there you go. Exactly. You're right. You're 100% right. He has 2 pawns for a piece. That's right. Exactly. You guys got it. That's fine there. Let's onward and upward. Let's see here. Excuse me. think there's something to do with there and there. See, if we play here, he has to move there. We drop in with check, and wherever the king goes, we have a discovery on the queen here. Yeah. Wow. Wow. It's not fun. We have no choice but to take. We can't move here. Well, I guess we could move there. Yeah. Yeah. But I was just concerned about that. How do we handle that? Oh. Yeah. My bad there. Yeah, that works. I'll show you the line that's really cool though. Let's just say you play something like this. We'll have an oh, sorry, my bad. Not there. Hold on. Get rid of that. Take that back. We'll say that rather than that, we'll say he plays here, and watch this. He comes in. Let's say he goes over here. Then you play there, and you win the queen. He plays here, and boom, and that's basically, yeah. But I'll look at what line did you have, Fox? That you were you guys talking about? One you guys were talking about D3, Queen D1. Hold on, Bishop takes, and Knight takes. Yep. Yeah, you're right. But the problem is, I think he wins it back with a check. Yeah. Oh, Queen E3. Let's take a looky. I don't think Queen E3 can be played. If he plays Queen E3, we take the pawn. Oh, you mean Queen D3? Gotcha. But I think that still loses, if I'm not. Yeah, I think you still have the same problem, because here, and then if you play there. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. You know, that works. Hey, you know what? There's a lot of lines that work in that, and it all favors black. So that's pretty sad when you have a game tactic that just favors one side and everything. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see here. Did I not do that? Did I not put that in correctly for you guys? Hold on. Let me make sure I do. So okay, so okay, I gotcha. So D3, yeah, okay, D3. Oh, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. I gotcha. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Gotcha. Yep, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, that does that still gives white a slight advantage, but not. I mean, black a slight advantage, but not much. And if he takes here, I don't know if he has to take back. Bishop takes, pawn takes. Queen's under attack. And so it's a little bit tighter of a position. So I'm not. Yeah, it is kind of tricky. I do agree with you on that. Yeah, so that is an interesting line for sure. Excuse me there. Okay, dokie. Let's see here. I believe we actually push here and we win a piece. Well, I don't know if we win a... Well, do we win a piece? Hold on, let me see. Do we actually win a piece if we do that? What am I missing? No, it's okay. Don't worry. Hang on, what? We'll constantly get better. You know what? Just more practice. More practice. Oh, wait a second. Wait a second. My bad here. If you take there. No, that doesn't work. I don't think that, because then he could play there. I guess we'd have to move our king at that point, wouldn't we? I'm not sure, because this is an idea. If he gobbles that up, then we have that. But I believe what he'll do is actually take here at that point. We'll have to move, and then the queen's gonna have to move. Then we take could push. That's just puzzling. Ooh, nice. Double attack, you're right. Yeah. There you go. Great find there, guys. Great find. Let's see here. I like that. Then he'll take back. We'll play here. He'll play only a move, which is there. And then we take and we fork the king and queen. What do you guys think? Here, queen takes e4, pawn takes e4, g6, queen goes to g5, and then knight takes e4. See you later, alligator. What you guys think? Bishop takes. Because remember, what did this knight leave behind? The protection of that pawn. Oh, you go to f4. Huh. I must have missed that then. Huh. What did I miss here then? Huh. I know it's based on this pawn here though. Because the knight once guarded there, the Aikido principle is what did the piece give up that you can then take advantage of. One second. Excuse me. So you get a drink of water. Trying to see. Well, I like that idea. That's an excellent idea. Good find there. That actually is winning. Because if he takes here, then we play rook to f6. Nice. That was a good find. That's a good move. Wow. And he has to take because it's check. Wow. What do you guys think? I believe that is the winning blow. King g2. That is interesting for sure. Maybe that isn't right. Maybe I missed something here. What did I miss then? I believe it has to be something like that. Trying to see if what I'm missing here. We're missing something. see here. Huh. That's interesting. Hmm. Yeah, I do like that idea, Fox. Wow. Let's take a look at that other line that we were talking about. Queen has to take, and then you take there. Huh. Wow. Okay. That was a good line. Good job, guys. Oh, let's go over that one line that you were talking about. This line here. I don't think it works, but I still want to go over it. Let's take a look because it's very good, for teaching. And I think you can. I think you can get a draw here. Yeah. Let's see here. Let's go for the. Let's check the line out here. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Then if pawn takes. Rook slides. Queen slides up. Knight comes up here. And bishop takes. King takes. Pawn put. Yeah, this is kind of a little. He's would probably play there. Something like that. And try to maybe do a checkmate idea there. And that, very interesting. Yeah, we'll do this. Boy, that was an interesting sequence. You'd have to see all the way. You win a queen, but it's going to be pretty hard to win that game. You have to make her worth her weight in for the loss of two pieces. She has to be able to make sure she does what she's supposed to do, like for victory for us, helping us, making it so we win. Yeah, you have to. That is a good idea to do it in your mind. Okay, this is an interesting play. I'm thinking something like knight. Turn that into a knight. And then what happens is, if the knight takes, we can actually snap off this rook because this knight's pinned. Yeah, here, and then you take the rook. So yeah. and then it's, let's see, knight takes, and knight comes back. Let's see, knight comes back. I like the knight. This knight move makes more practical sense than you have here. And they bring a queen in, and ugh. Yeah. And now you want to get your sweetheart or your friend going up the board. Our little friendly pawn. The knight comes there, and then now we're attacking both. So the knight's probably gonna have to. Oh, he's gonna check. Let's just see what happens if check. It comes up. He has to go back, and I think we take, if we take the knight here, pawn takes, and then we can actually start pushing. And if he pushes, we push. If he pushes, we actually take. So he can't push beyond that. He's gonna have to somehow bring his rook. Well, I guess he could push. We push. He plays there. We play here. And if he tries pushing, we just take, and then we allow him to have that, and then we come back, and it's really not fun for him. Okay, I kind of see that. Yeah. Let's see, queen d8. Let me see. Let's see. Did I not write in something? Hold on. Okay, what did you say? Okay. Oh yeah. Oh, I gotcha. I see what you're saying. Yeah, if you do that, rook takes queen, and you actually lose a. Yeah, you'd have to play here. He plays there. You play there, and he's actually now up. Yeah, no, it was actually knight. You were right, because if you don't turn it into a knight, you're actually down material. Yeah, exactly. You have to turn it into, if you turn it into a queen, he'll take right here. And then he has enough material to, yeah. Exactly. Let's see, what do we have here? Oh, this knight is looking kind of funny. If we play here, we actually, I think, can win. Nope. Let's see. I think we go h3. h3, and if knight takes rook, we actually play pawn push. No, then he can actually trade his knight back. Yeah, I don't know, huh? Yeah, I guess, yeah. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Hmm. Who'd have thunk? But I believe that's right. I think you do win a piece in that scenario. What do you guys think? Do you think we win a piece in this scenario? He plays there. So here, here, there. We can't do that, because then we just win it. I think we just win a whole piece at that point with queen takes. Yeah. I think we win a whole piece, yeah. No, you're not wrong. Hey, you know what? Um, there was a show that said that the more that you try, and when I was growing up, it was actually the Magic School Bus. I really enjoyed it. They had one on there that said that when you make mistakes, you actually learn more than when you get it right. So sometimes, yeah. So don't ever think that it's wrong to try. Never think that. Or to give it your best, yeah. Let's see here. Yeah, let me see. Double attack? Yep. Do you see that, Fox? Look, here, to check, when the queen takes, we take. When the king comes up, then we come over and snap that rook off. Isn't that sweet? You know, you get to have two pieces. You know, that's sweet. Yeah. Wow. That's. I guess it's better to do that because if you played here, you get really smacked with an attack, and then you have to play up here, and then you just slide over. Come on, slide over, and boom, you get two rooks. Good job, guys. We're onward and upward. Ooh, we're close to a Arabian mate, guys. Close, so close. Are we missing anything we can't do in the mate? Are we missing anything? Oh, when he moved. Oh, okay. He's gonna have to play his rook up there, though. Well, then we play our bishop back to block. Then we still have our mate. So here, here, there, there, and he's going to try something like that, there, and then we move our king. Yeah, this actually works. And then now you have to, let's see here, I think you have to move your bishop there, if I'm not mistaken. I'm trying to see, is there any... if we do a rook check, it lets him out of the mating net. So I believe this has to be the only move that, yeah. And then we, I think, win material with knight takes bishop, and then after we play knight takes bishop, we just move right back. And then when he trades rook after he plays knight, see, we play here, he plays there, we play back, he plays knight takes bishop, rook takes, knight takes, and we're up a whole exchange at that point. I believe that's right. Yeah. Because what'll happen is he'll come here, we'll come there, he'll play knight takes, oh, mate, there's mate, so he has to play rook takes, and boom, there's mate. No, that'd be back rank mate if we did that. So it has to be... Nope, can't be that either. What am I... Well, no, actually, I think it is. It has to be... It's either that or that. Do we play... Let's see, if we played there... He's got to play there. Yeah, so I think it has to be either that or that. I'm kind of thinking it might be that, because that takes advantage of there. And if pawn takes, we win the queen. And then rook takes. Not sure, do we, is that good enough, though? Those are the two moves. And then we'd have to check here. If the king moved over here, at that point, I think we... Nice. Hmm. So do you guys like this? I believe it's that, but I'm trying to see if there's any weakness. I really don't see anything. Snap. Why? Oh. It's a draw. Ah. Drat. I want to see why. Oh, it blocks. No, the other line loses because of one thing, Fox. I now see why. If we play here, we play there, well, and then we take, we don't have this. We don't have this here. We don't have we can't play our knight there because the pawn's there. But if we go like this, if I go here, bishop takes, we have that. The pawn is not here anymore, and so there's no problems, and it's protected by the bishop. So this bishop has to come back because we're attacking it at the same time. Then we can bring, like what Chris said, our queen here and attack that, and yeah, this is an interesting one. Yeah, that's what my teacher said. So I'll be right back, guys. Take a look at this. Let's see here. What are we doing? Oh. Okay. So you want to go back and take a look at that? Okay. Let's see here. Are you talking about this one or the other one? I'm not sure. We'll just, let's see here. We'll go to this one. Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying right here. Sorry, I was thinking about the last one. I thought you guys were talking about that. But knight to f3 does handle this sitch. But it does allow g takes f, like what you're saying. G takes f, and... Or maybe that's better. Yeah, that does look a lot. But actually there's that bishop guard, so there really is no mate. I'm thinking it might be queen g4. If I'm not mistaken, because that pins the pawn that allows there. So queen g4, h6, h3. That is interesting. Interesting. I think you're right, because I don't think that wins. See here. Like if he plays here, drop there, there. Yeah, it's just crushing, yeah. Good job. Good job. Good find, guys. Oh, you want to look at... Oh, you want to look at... okay. We'll go back and take a look at that. It doesn't work because of that. I believe that... Let me see. Oh, actually, it does work. Huh. That seems like it wins, but the pin is not there, so yeah. It's just, that's destroying, that's destructive, so yep, I do see that. That was a good one, guys. We're getting close. We're getting close. Really close. Okay. We'll give that a shot. Hey, why not? Well, okay, you know what? I'm willing to give it a try. Let's see here. Here. Yeah, it is. It's a draw at this point. This one actually is crushing. Or just this devastating, because if he plays here, we actually can jump in, and then if he plays up here, you then win that. You had the right idea though about that. Yeah, you had the right idea. It was this takes though, so that was a good one. That was a good find there. Let me see here. Yeah, it does. You had the right idea. It wasn't knight takes e. It was knight takes f2. You were right though. You were right about the knight and the queen and all that. So that all worked. It was just taking the knight. Excuse me, ends in a draw. But the other one ends in 8 pawn advantage. It's like whoa. You know, like greed isn't bad on the chessboard if you're. One second. If you're able to, you know, gobble it and keep it, it's not bad. But it's the chess is about checkmate, and that's what my teacher told me is the one thing you have to do is checkmate your opponent. Let's see here. Trying to see if that wins anything. I don't think so. What am I missing? What am I missing here? I think you're right with the check. And then I think we have to move our bishop to guard that pawn. So with the check here, yeah, I was thinking. I looked at a6. He takes there, check. He moves there, but I don't see anything after that. Well, maybe we have we might have that. Or sorry, here. Oh, I see what you're saying. That is a good move. A really good move, because if he takes here, here, let's say he plays there, we actually can come down here. Then if he tries to come there, we play bishop there for. Oh wow, that is intense. This is a tense one. Because if he takes here, yeah. This I believe you're right. That does win. Because then if he takes here, we check. But see, we have to keep it here so that we can come down to here. I believe that has to be the move, because at this point, if he takes here, we take there, we check there. If he comes here, we come down here, and there's no way really to stop the checkmate coming there. Yeah. Oh, you're kidding me. That's winning? Oh my word. Oh, wow. Okay. Oh my. I'm sorry, that was my fault there. That was my fault. That was me. I was thinking something like this, then he comes there, and then we come down here. But I forgot he can actually play there. Oh. Snap. I missed this here. Yeah. What I thought he was gonna play is here. And then we queen. Oh, okay. Oh, wow. Boy, was I wrong there. Wow. Huh. Snap. Drat. Oh, you want to look at your line? Okay. Where's yours? Okay, a5. h4. We'll take a look at it, but I think it betters black in that line. Yeah, you had the right idea with mate though. Rather than this, you queen, and then when he takes, it's mate in 6. Yeah, but you had the right idea though with the rook. So it was just that here allowed for, if we have to get the rook up here and off the, I guess. Yeah. Hey, how you doing? Yeah, that's crazy. We'll do one more, and then I gotta log. Okie dokie. Huh. What am I missing here? Oh, okay. Okay, well with that, we'll end on this. That was a good one. We'll get back, guys. You know what? We're doing better. Our chess tactical is doing better. That one was an interesting one. So yeah. Well, thank you all for helping, and we're doing good. and Fabi's doing good in his game, and Wesley did good in his game, so we're doing good. Yes. And 1 second, I want to show you guys though. We were gonna see what happens with this. This is check. Actually, I'm sorry. That's let me see here. Actually, this is what I wanted to show you. This is a tactic that happens. Yeah. Yeah. That is true. Very, very true. So yeah, deflection is huge. That's actually part of it. So well, thank you again, and Wes. You know what? We gotta just. I can't wait to do and see more of the U.S. Open games. That's gonna be cool. And you know what? We have to remember this. Oh, wait a second. Do you guys have, before I log off, do you guys have any questions about this puzzle? Any moves? Do you have any moves on here before I log off that you wanted to look at? Yeah, fine, true. Did anybody have before I log off? Do you have anything on like this puzzle? Any moves? You gotta. Sometimes you have to risk though, and that's the cool thing about chess. There's always another game, and you know what? Ideas are cool to do. Okay, so you guys all good? Okay. Well, guys, I will leave you with this thought. Keep on studying, keep on doing good, and remember, always, always keep moving forward. Only look back to learn. Mistakes are only mistakes if you don't learn from them. Remember that. And that's what chess is about, learning from our mistakes, and that's what we do with our problems. We learn from our mistakes. And remember, there's always a plan to position. We just got to find it. Sometimes you have to risk to get better. So just remember that, risk. But be smart with your risk. And always remember, if you ever have a moment that you're like, what do I do? Stop, breathe, and believe that the Lord will help you. Okay? Just focus down on that. And remember, guys, as Wesley So says, serve the Lord Jesus. And as I say, God bless. And I'll see you next time on Chess Cruncher TV. Have a great rest of the night, guys, or morning or evening. And I'll be back tomorrow. Have a blessed day. And I'm going to continue to keep watching the U.S. Championship. Okay, bye-bye, guys.